evening, Synergy PWR viewers across the world. Welcome to Synergy PWR People's World Racing, and we're here for Season 5, Round number 1, here at the Australian Grand Prix. Big thank you to every single one of you tuning in here tonight for this Synergy PWR race. We are back here for Season 5, our 100th Grand Prix season, and it's going to be one magnificent one ahead of us. We've got 19 drivers here for the Australian Grand Prix going through into Q2 at the moment, and it's going to be one hell of a ride for sure. Just going on board at the moment with Sufyan in the Mercedes at the moment, just on a hot lap at the moment. May notice it's raining here at Australia. Australian Grand Prix, renowned for its crystal clear weather. Usually shrouds the grass a little bit though for Sufyan. Yeah, usually pretty good for weather around here. But unfortunately for him, it looks like it's too much grass, and he will be abandoning that particular lap. And one person will be hoping he keeps his form. He goes Tapper into the gravel. He's going to try to say he's going to want to try and keep his form if he can. Tapper, Season 4 World Champion in Division 1. Looking to try and get some form going to continue that run, but he does have some fierce competition around him. On board with PWR Hamster at the moment. Currently on a bit of a slow lap at the moment, actually, is Hamster. And looking to just keep it slow and steady around the corner. Looks like he might be coming in, and he is doing so. So far looking to try and get through into Q3, and of course top 10 go through to Q3. And only 2 people so far will be knocked out because it was an absolutely hectic Q1. Had a very, very large amount of retirements due to the weather conditions. Everyone though laughing, and great sports inside the Synergy PWR party currently running at the moment. Excellent stuff now on board with Hoonigan. And beginning to dry up actually, says, I believe that's his AMS Dan. Here's Hoonigan. Currently on a bit of a slower lap at the moment by the looks of things. Nice to be back over here for Synergy PWR People's World Racing 100th Grand Prix season ahead of us. It's going to be a very, very, very interesting season for us. As I said, with 100 races ahead of us, it's been an absolute pleasure bringing every single race to these drivers. But we are currently on race number 86 of 100. And indeed, it's very, very interesting season ahead of us actually with that 100th race Grand Prix. You'll be wanting to know a few little changes in and around Synergy PWR. I'll give you a quick breakdown of the rules here at Synergy. We are running here as per usual. Ever since the Invitational season, we have been running simulation damage here, and that continues on. However, these drivers are going to have to cope with a brand new Le Mans style set of rules where Division 1 and 2 are tied together and are racing with each other and against each other at the same time. Both driver championships are running separately, so there's 10 positions in each division, and they're running with points as given, as and when, in their division order. However, the constructors' points are only given to the top 10, so these drivers will have to race with each other if they want to get into the constructors' points availability. Oh, big slide from Hoonigan. And he'll be one to watch this season, actually, Will Hoonigan. Tried to find some consistency if he can, Will Hoonigan. He's been in top form, actually, throughout Season 4, with the mistakes here and there. So if he can try and nail that consistency down, and he's been practicing hard for this race as well to get a good season, he certainly could be a title contender. And it'll be his last season as well, racing that number 14. Obviously, Fernando Alonso coming back to Formula 1 next season for Alpine. Fairly solid so far from the Ferrari runner. Very happy to keep that Ferrari as well. We're talking actually a little bit earlier on this week. He says he's always found a high amount of consistency with the Ferrari. He says it's his favourite car to drive, supports Ferrari. Also supports, I believe, Manchester United as well, would you believe it? So it must be a clear scene of red. Absolute scenes in the chat at the moment as well. No Punterino clapper. Thank you very much there, moderator. 2.5 minutes to go, though, in this Q2 session. Oh, there's a slide for Hoonigan. That might work out well. Oh, he's decided not to come into the pits. That'll be one way to enter, that's for sure. Big slide. Looks like he got on the power a little bit too early. That's going to cost him all that time. In the end, 1.7 seconds down on his fastest lap. Slowing down, though, and he's going to have another go at it. Sure, we'll return to him at a later time. Here's AMS Cookie. Season 2 World Champion. Back in the Division 1 days for him. And he'll be looking to try and get some form going, I think. Season 2 World Champion, as I said, for Division 1. Actually, Season 1 Division 2 Champion as well. So he's climbed up the rankings in a bit and goes straight to the top, actually, beating the current defending champion at the moment, Tapita, by just under, a 100th of a second. So mighty close stuff there for Cookie. As I said, though, managed to get the Season 1 title in Division 2, and then progressed straight away to the title in Division 1 in Season 2, and then in Season 3 actually went to his teammate, AMS Dan, who took it on what was an absolute thriller back in the when they were teamed together at Renault, would you believe, in Season 3. And then Tapita came along, the Frenchman, absolute beast in Season 4. A lot of it raced behind closed doors. Behind closed doors as they went through the shift in the format. But currently leading man so far is Cookie. 45 seconds to go, but plenty of other people on the circuit. One of those people, AMS Dan, is a Season 3 World Champion, looking to try and get a good season going himself, actually. You know, our first retiree, that's Hoonigan. He's retired in the pit, so he thinks he's going to be safe. That's from P6, though. Sufyan doing the same from P3, though. Good effort. The Ferrari power unit, Alfa Romeo. A little bit unstable on that rear, going through that long right-hander, heading through now. This Cookie goes even faster on those intermediate tyres, absolutely flying at the moment. 31.2 for him now. Popping into the chat, Richie Evans popping in. He's the Haas driver in Division 2. Unfortunately not managing to get through to Q2 though after crashing out, I believe. Was it on your outlap, Richard? It's all about the laughs here at Synergy though, of all the drivers just looking to continue their form and keep going and enjoy themselves while they do it. Turning the left-hander now, AMS Dan, heading around the final corner. Oh, he was on his fast lap. Coming across the line now is AMS Dan. See where he goes. Straight to P2, beating Tapita. Bit of an old rivalry brewing between these two. They were teammates back in Season 3 at Renault. Now separated by Alfa Romeo and Red Bull. But top two for them at the moment, and the current leading champion at the moment in Division 1, Tapita, down to P3 at the moment. There's actually some very peculiar stuff at the moment. We've still got a little bit of a bottle happening here. Interesting scenario happening now for DC Gunner. Yeah, he's a new boy starting a SynergyPWR. Race number 86 for the Renault, but looking to really get started, see if he can get himself into Q3. Oh, he's just managed to get himself in with that. 1:34.1, but there is PWR Tom behind. You may recognise him as Tom619DD. He comes across the line, and he can't get out of Q2. He'll be starting P12 alongside Chess Kingsman, and DC Gunner on his debut tonight starts in P10, no lower than, sorry, than P10. So it's a good showing there from the Renault. And a great showing as well from Max Watson in 5th place as well, also on his debut tonight in the Racing Point. And incoming into the chat there, Sonic Super, saying he's happy there with his Q3 appearance here. P9 for yourself, sir, well done. We just wait on Cookie to stop playing the Fitnessgram Pacer Test memes. And hopefully he'll be retiring into the pits. 13 of you tuned in as well for this one. Thank you very much to every single one of you. Moderator coming into the chat, trying to claim that the Ocean Man memes are better than the Fitness Grand Pacer test. I'll leave that for you guys to decide. Very subjective. But we are done with Q2, and there is your showing, ladies and gentlemen. AMS Cookie absolutely smashing it out of the park with a 1 minute 31.2. 3.5 tenths faster than his old teammate, Season 3 World Champion, Season 2, Season 3, and Season 4 World Champion. 1, 2, 3. Can you believe that? Sufyan is in P4. He's been absolutely climbing the ranks in Synergy. Was sort of a midfielder in Division 2, now really showing his pace in Division 1 with Max Watson on his debut in 5th place with Hoonigan in 6th. Shaquille starts at the moment in 7th with Ham in 8th. And you got Sonic Superstar in 9th, DC Gun at 10th. Kingsman and Tom both knocked out of Q2. Very interesting stuff, and a few little mixed bags there with quite a few Division 2 runners actually in the mix for Q3. Going to be a very interesting one indeed. Let's go through to Q3. Oh, ZG Swift, nice to see you in the chat, buddy. Long time no speak. Nice to hear from you. I hope you're doing really well. ZG Swift in the chat for those who aren't familiar. An OG of SynergyPWR back in the Invitational Season 1 days. Everything went absolutely brilliantly here at SynergyPWR for our 5th season. Heading through, believe it or not, Swift, to our 100th race in SynergyPWR. Currently race 86. All the love to you. Hope you're doing well yourself. 11.5 minutes in this Q3 session. We have 10 drivers. We have DRS enabled literally as of about 15 seconds ago. So all these drivers are now going to be heading out of their way to get started with laps on dry tyres, which is exactly what Sonic Super wanted. And he seemed very keen to get going because he's the first person out there, would you believe, in Q3. Very excited on those crispy, fresh, soft tyres. Camera going a little bit funky there. Outlaps all around and soft tyres going on for these drivers. Got no doubt about that one. The question is, who is your favourite for pole? 13 people on here now. There's a question directly to you. Based on the performance we've seen in Q2, who would you be putting up there as a potential for your leader for taking that pole position? You've got to be looking at the previous champions. You've got Cookie from Season 2, Dan from Season 3, Tapata from Season 4, and potential world champions in that mix as well. You've got people like Ham, you've got people like Hoonigan are in that mix potentially. Ham's certainly a contender for the Division 2 title this season. ZG Swift popping back in again. Yeah, nice to see Hoonigan still up there. Hamster, Cookie, some OGs in there. Yeah, some serious OGs who have been going through work. It's been a really difficult patch for Synergy. As you can imagine, with the COVID crisis, a lot of people not feeling that much comfort in racing. An alternate fact as well is that the game has just not been that consistent this year. A lot of people lost faith. But the OGs have stayed, and we are now back for our 100th season. Well, 100th raced season, rather. 100th season, can you believe that? Here comes Sonic. Heading around turn 1. Oh, so much grip down there on the track. Nearly 20 viewers already going in this one. Absolutely beautiful. A little bit deep, though, for Sonic. I'm sure he'll be a bit disappointed with that one. Yes, could have been better indeed. Let's go on board with Ham, actually, at the moment, who's just gone a little bit wide himself. Indeed, close quarters for him. But he's looking to really get the season going now. And Division 2 title really in sight for him now. It's been a couple of seasons, hasn't it, where he's been sort of really up there and been really fighting for potential championships. But it's just tapered off a little bit. And now the Tangerine Dream is also back as well, because Mongdog, the Division 2 World Champion, is racing back at McLaren this season. Now, he unfortunately got eliminated in Q1 due to an incident as a result of the rain that we had, but the Tangerine Dream is back, and them two now racing together. Going to be certainly an interesting one. And nice to have CT5 Plaz as well, though, as known as PWR Plaz. Nice to have you back on board for SynergyPWR Season 5. Heading through the final selection of corners now. PWR Hamster going around that final corner and keeping it planted very well as well. It could be a good lap here, actually, from the Division 2 candidate here. Comes across the line straight into P2. And only 4/10 of a second down off Cookie. A dedicated Division 1 World Champion here. So Hamster already showing his worth here. Purple Sector 1 for Hoonigan in the Ferrari. Again, another candidate for the title this season. He'll be looking to keep that form going. It will be a tough ask. It's a mighty competition out there at the moment as Max Watson going fastest. 0.3 of a second faster than Cookie in the Racing Point. Obviously Aston Martin as of next season. All the best to you as well, Swifty. Nice to hear from you again. Yeah, we're still going and we're going strong. Thank you very much for the graphics as well. Thank you for the note on that one. Cookie beating Max, though, again by a good long way as well. 1 minute 20.7. That's Track Evolution working a treat for you. Here comes Hoonigan getting a lovely tow as well from the Alfa Romeo. 1 minute 20.6 for Hoonigan. Straight into pole position. Claps all around the track. People will be happy about that one. Here's AMS Dan. Staying on board with him at the moment as he goes on a hot lap around here. Got to keep it steady, of course. This is Australia. Just try and clip that curb if you can and try and overcut it ever so slightly and you can get a bucket at a time, and that's exactly what he's done. Purple in the first sector again. That's Track Evolution working a treat at the moment. Michael Bray popping in saying Max Watson is certainly a future F1 champion in the making. He certainly will be with times like that one at the moment, especially considering the track was still a bit damp. If he goes back out there, he'll be surely screaming all the way to the top. Purple second sector again, though, for AMS Dan at the moment. Really, really good stuff from the Alien Motorsport driver. Not a bad second sector as well, actually, especially through turn 10 and 11 to 12. And then heading through into 13. Got to keep it planted if you can. Go through 14. Break down second gear if you can. Drops it into first, though, because of a little lock-up. Plant it early if you can, but a bit of understeer. That may be the track still just warming up at the moment after that rain spell, but he does go fastest. 1 minute 20.1. Evolution again kicking in very strong. Here goes PWR Hammond. You can see on his fastest lap, 1.2 seconds a lap faster on this particular run. Will sink him all the way to P4. But now he's into the 20s. And only 0.8 of a second behind as well on the fastest lap from Division 1. So you can really see a real good performance here, potentially from the Division 2 title runner. We'll have to see. Season 4 Division 1 champion Tapita looking fairly strong here. Sonic, though, in the Red Bull. Alternative way to take turn 6, that. Not taking as much curb and wanted to take more outside curb. Certainly one way to do it. But he's looking to try and get off the mark at some point as well. 4 minutes and 20 seconds to go. Nice. Oh, a little bit wide though through 10, and that's going to be a corner cut through 11. And Sonic Super will slowly bring the car to a crawl and get it going again. Here's Tapita, defending champion from Season 4. And a big thank you to Tapper as well. He's actually been one of the most silent vocal members of Synergy I've ever experienced, to put it bluntly. We haven't actually heard him talk as far as I'm aware, but he's been very vocal about how much he's enjoying the experience of being here. So a big thank you to the Frenchman. Tapper looking to just try and take that second sector. Got to keep it steady if you can. And then if he can, try and keep it as close as possible to the wall. Takes it well. 10 and then 11. Very well taken from the Season 4 champion. He wasn't there by mistake, of course. Keep it slow and steady. Through 13. Into 14. And then into 15 and 16, and he might get a little tow here as well from DC Gunner in front of him. And DC Gunner's actually the Renault teammate as well, and these two aren't actually asked to put together. They've just been put together, and actually right there is perfect little teamwork. Great effort from the two Renaults, and a great effort from the Season 4 champions so far. 1 minute 19.5, but that track is getting faster. DC Gunner on a lap now. More people now just leaving the pits. 2 racing points have just left. That's Max and Shaquille. Very well taken, actually, going through turn 8 into turn 9. Long left-hander here. Almost a straight, not straight. Into 10. And then 11. And that's a corner cut, unfortunately. The Division 2 driver will probably have to slow down, get some more energy back into that battery and have one more go. Won't have enough time to come back into the pits and have another go at recharging and getting a new set of tyres on, so this will be his one and only chance after this. Here's Hoonigan at the moment. Currently behind him, PWR Hamster looks like he's letting him through. That's exactly what he's just done. There's a little bit of conversation happening, I suspect, in the chat, making sure everything goes smoothly. Making situations like that. Heading through the right-hander. Hamster keeping it steady. Yellow flags waving as people are slowing down to get ready for their lap. Hamster back on board with him as he gets going now with his lap. His last opportunity to climb up the rankings at the moment. P5 for him at the moment, so it's a good effort so far. And considering that this is a mix of Div 1 drivers as well, remember here at Synergy we run under Le Mans style system where Division 1 and Division 2 drivers are racing together. Albeit they are racing with each other on track because the top 10 only score constructors points, while the driver standings are determined based on the division proceedings. I.e. if first place is a Division 1 driver but third place is a Division 2 driver, third place will get 25 points for finishing first in Division 2. A little bit of smoke coming out the back of that McLaren as well, though it could be a little bit of spray being kicked up. Remember, the track might still be a bit damp. This will be the one and only shot for him. DC Gunner does improve his lap in the end, but it's seen that he's only in the 23s at the moment. Sufjan and Sonic yet to set a lap as well. That's Division 1 and Division 2. As AMS Dan climbs up the rankings. And Max Watson, with a 1 minute 20.5, climbs himself to P3. So it's a good effort from the Racing Point. Really, really good effort. Michael Bray popping into the chat earlier thinks that Max is a potential champion in the making. He's certainly going to be looking at that with pace like that, though. Here comes Hamster looking to try and get into the 20.4s for the McLaren. He's into P3 at the moment, is Division 2 driver, looking fairly strong. Here comes Hoonigan, who goes fastest of anyone. 1 minute 19.1. He's beaten Tapper by 4/10 of a second, and that is a mighty effort from the Ferrari, who has been testing so hard on his setups to try and get this going here. 2 people left to set a proper lap, I believe. That's DC Gunner and Sufjan. We do have Big Daddy Shaquille on the board at the moment, but here's Cookie, who spun it on his fastest lap. So he's actually not going to be starting any higher than P6 as a result of that one, but here it could end up being beaten by the likes of DC Gunner, maybe even Sufjan. Sufjan's actually invalidated his lap, so the Mercedes isn't going to be setting anything here. DC Gunner, will he be able to improve? He can't, so he starts in P9. Sufjan, the Division 1 driver, starts in P10, a little bit down the order, you suspect. And AMS Cookie as well, the Season 2 World Champion from Division 1, is also down the order in P6. And the man of the moment is the South African driver in the Ferrari. Hoonigan, the number 14 runner, did say he's going to be one to watch in this division, and certainly one to watch for a potential chance of getting that title. With a performance like that one, he's certainly going to be in the mix. Let's have a quick look then at that final classification before we head through into qualifying. Hoonigan is the man of the moment. The South African runner starts in P1. The Frenchman and the Season 4 defending champion Tapperter starts on the front row, but not where you'd expect him to be. He's in P2 with Dan in P3. Hamster starts in P4. You've got Max Watson in P5. Good effort from the man starting his season here at Synergy PWR on the round at number 86 of our entire history. AMS Cookie starts in P6 with Shaquille in 7th. You've got Sonic in 8th, Gunnar in 9th, and Sufyan not even managing to set a lap, starting in P10. We also have 9 drivers down the order as well. Be very excited to show you the full grid once we get up and running. But it is Hoonigan who managed to get to that front step, and he'll be happy with that one. 5 seconds to go before we go through into the race, and there'll be a short delay while everyone gets themselves ready for the race. Through then, ladies and gentlemen, to the race here to Synergy PWR. We are at the Australian Grand Prix. And there, our full grid, as you can see, it is Hoonigan on the top step of the grids, rather. We got Tapperter in 2nd and Dan in 3rd. Hamster starts in a very respectable P4. He is the highest runner of the Division 2 drivers. You've got Max Watson in P5. Cookie starts in 6th. Shaquille is in 7th. Sonic is in 8th. Gunnar is in 9th with Sufyan in 10th. And then the 9 drivers behind, Chess Kingsman and PWR Tom619DD, starts in 11th and 12th. On the 7th row, Verline and M&M's, whatever you want to call him, he starts in 13th and 14th respectively. Tom Beading, otherwise known as PWR Clap or Strategic Herpes, going for a less weird name for this season, 15th and 16th respectively on the 8th row of the grid. On the 9th row of the grid, we've got Paul Davey and the Division 2 World Champion, now racing in Division 1, Mong Dog. After crashing out earlier in qualifying, he ends up starting well down the order in 18th, and then in 19th place, we have the man, the myth, and the legend, Richie Evans, 1975 in the Haas. He starts at the back. I believe we have confirmed time of 8:44 for a start time, unless I am mistaken. It might be 8:45. So we've got a little bit of time to relax and chill out. Good evening, everyone tuning in to the Synergy PWR stream. It's going to be a very good race. And Dan saying those exact words as they come through. Going to be a very good race, I think. We've got 19 drivers at the Australian Grand Prix. We have our a season ahead with the 100th Grand Prix. And very interestingly, there's more interesting stuff about Synergy Season 5 than you might expect. Of course, we've got the rules set out, as I described earlier. The Division 1 and the Division 2 drivers are racing together. They have a teammate. Every single person has a teammate of the opposite division. They all race together for the constructors' points, so only the top 10 positions on track will score constructors' points, but they will score their own individual points in their division for the drivers. So we have 2 drivers' championships and 1 constructors. So that's going to make for a little spicy little season I think we've got ahead of us. And to top that off, for our 100th race, we are hosting at Great Britain as voted for by the drivers. We're running a 100% race, 100 for 100. So they've got to adjust and adapt towards that rule book, and on top of that, they've also got double points awarded as well. So maximum points, 52 available to them if they maximise the best out of that race. That's for certain. That happens at round number 15. We're currently on round number 1. And that is 15 weeks away, to be sure. It's going to be an interesting one. Questions coming through from people, excluding from Bead Boy, which I believe is PWR Clap or Tom Beading. Asking the question 15th to 1st. Good luck, sir. This is Australia. Not particularly the easiest track to overtake. Actually voted by the drivers almost to be removed from the calendar, because we're running 20 races this season, and some of those races running on short circuits. We've got the alternative Sakia layout as well as the alternative Britain and USA layout this season to make 20 races. 2 races removed from the calendar, of course. Vietnam and China and Monaco were voted out as the China was very close to being knocked out. Sorry, it was Vietnam and Monaco that were voted out as the main culprits, if you will, of the worst racing as the drivers getting themselves ready for the race. We are going to be in for a magnificent race ahead of us. Stay tuned. SynergyPWR Australian Grand Prix starts very shortly. Good evening, SynergyPWR viewers across the world. Welcome to SynergyPWR People's World Racing, and we are here for round number 1 of Season 5. This is the Australian Grand Prix. SynergyPWR People's World Racing is back for another magnificent season, and our season containing our 100th Grand Prix. Thank you very much to every single one of you tuning in to SynergyPWR for this magnificent race ahead of us, and a magnificent lineup of 19 drivers turning up for this first race here tonight. Hoonigan starts in P1 with Tapita, the Season 4 World Champion, starting in second place. Dan starts in third with Hamster in fourth. And remember, this is a Division 1-2 mix-up, so that's the reason why Hamster is in this race tonight, with Max Watson in fifth and Cookie starting a little bit down the order than I think you'd want to be, in sixth. Shaquille starts in seventh with Sonic in eighth, Gunnar in ninth, and Sufyan in 10th. Bottom 9 drivers: Chess Kingsman, TPWR Tom, Fairline, M&M's, Tom Beading, CT5 Plaz, Paul Davey, Mongdog, and Richie Evans. Division 2 World Champion from Season 4, Mondog, starting in 18th place after a little mix-up with the conditions out in qualifying. It was a wet qualifying if you missed out earlier, and that led to Mongdogs unfortunately crashing out in Q1. A little bit of a mix-up, of course. The Season 2 World Champion in Division 1, Cookie starting in 6th after a poor Q3 showing. Dan will be happy with his P3. He's a Season 3 World Champion, and Season 4 World Champion Tapita starting on the front row, but only in second. South African driver who's been putting his heart and soul into SynergyPWR, the OG himself, Hoonigan, has been really cleaning up his consistency issues, and now he starts from pole. Can he convert pole into a win, or will someone else manage to get into that mix? Either way, it's going to be a very interesting start ahead of us. Tyre strategy wise, soft tyres for those probably onto the hards, though medium tyres are available based on the testing that we had. The drivers are now getting themselves ready, and they're lining themselves up on the grid. And with the drivers lined up, we're going to be counting down the lights. It's 1, it's 2, it's 3, it's 4, and it's 5 lights. It's 5 lights, and they are a go. The drivers, here they are. Hoonigan gets a poor start, and Tapita absolutely ramping away here, looking like he's going to get a little bit of a tow from the Alfa Romeo though, and it comes up into P3. Around the outside goes Hoonigan, and he's onto the grass, and he's not able to hold on here, going around the outside. Oh, he spins, and he's out of the race at turn 2. That's unfortunate stuff, and the safety car has come out straight away as a result of that one. That is bitterly disappointing stuff from the South African driver, who was looking to try and hold on around that outside of turn 1, but it was just not gonna work. He's onto the grass, he lost the rear, and unfortunately for him, he's out of the race. Bitterly disappointing stuff from the South African driver, who was looking to try and keep some consistency going, but he's going to be leaving this race with nil points after an incident at turn 2 brought out the safety car. Tapita now leads the race with AMS Dan in second, and then Max Watson on his debut is currently in P3 at the moment. And a great effort indeed from Max Watson to gain those 2 positions. On board on the backside of AMS Dan at the moment. And the Alfa Romeo able to really bounce along at the moment in P2. He'll swallow that position up, no problem at all. As we have a bit of a disconnection issue for CT5 Plaz in P16. Mongdog up 3 though towards the back. Good effort from the Season 2 World Champion as they come behind the safety car. I'm sure the drivers now will be debating what they're going to do with the strategy, but I should imagine after one lap they are all going to stay out. Pit stop strategy as selected there, 10 laps to the hard tyre. Though it is possible to take them 14, maybe 15 laps to go onto a medium. And so people may be doing that already. There's the safety car parked exactly where Hoonigan had crashed out. Sufjan, I'm saying his name because he's actually just entered the pit lane in the Mercedes alongside Tom Beeding. Max Watson up 2 positions. Hamster in 4th, holding his own at the moment. He'll be happy for the safety car to stay out probably another 27 laps if he wanted, because that would mean maximum points for PWR Hamster. Cookie up 1 in 5th, and Sonic Super as well in Division 2, doing a good effort himself actually. He's currently in 6th place at the moment. I'm back on board with AMS Cookie on the backside, looking at his teammate Sonic Super for the season. He's up 2. Shaquille holds his 7th place. And Hoonigan popping into the chat saying that's my season gone. We're round 1 of 20, got 19 weeks worth of races to go, including a double points hit from round 15. Hoonigan not going to be all over. The consistency can bloom. You were just a bit unlucky at the start. Very, very unfortunate stuff. Best of luck for next week, but we are at Bahrain. Safety car still out for another few laps. All the drivers just getting themselves ready, warming themselves up. I'm bothered with Shaquille at the moment as well. Looks like he might have disconnected as well, because we do have a ghosted car for him at the moment. A good effort there as well from PWR Tom in 9th place. Tom now the lone Ferrari at the moment after the incident with Hoonigan. Very unfortunate stuff for him. It's just a shame he just wasn't able to get the power down as quickly as he wanted. He's been trying, and that'll be one that will vouch for Hoonigan as well. He's been going out of his way to race wherever he can to practice for these races, and it's just unfortunate when it came to the racing scenario, he didn't get the best start, and as an unfortunate situation for him, he ended up going side by side through a corner, which is so difficult to go side by side through turn 1 at Australia. He put it into the grass, and I think he just put the power down too quickly, and that spun the car out and his race was over. It's a real unfortunate circumstance as well, because here at SynergyPWR we do run simulation damage here. Bitterly disappointing stuff for the Ferrari. On board with Chess Kingsman, he's into the points for the first time. He's in the Alfa Romeo, his teammate PWR Dan, or AMS Dan, sorry, it was PWR Dan beforehand. Here's Verline as well. Just kept his Division 1 place this season as well. He starts in 11th at the moment. It's a bit of a poor qualifying from him, but he's on the medium tyre, which may help him long term, especially at this particular part of the show, because it might mean he could go onto a soft tyre with relative ease. But remember, 70% damage on your tyres can easily lead to a puncture. And he may be king of the starters as well for the second McLaren. Currently in P13 at the moment, 5 positions gained for him. Mongdog, the Season 2 World Champion, looking to try and bounce back if he can. But Tapita will now slow down the field. As you see the safety car just coming into the pits now. And Tapita's gone away straight away, coming before he even get anywhere near the final corner. And he's actually caught Max Watson napping a little bit here as we go green again here at the Australian Grand Prix. And Tapita looking to try and hold off AMS Dan attack here. And he's locked up massively as AMS Dan, and that might bring Watson into this one here. Good effort though from Tapita to catch everyone napping. Dan clearly not warmed his tyres up sufficiently here, and that has really cost him some time here to Tapita. And Max Watson looking to just try and maintain that one if he can. Here comes PWR Hamster in P4 holding his own at the moment. And some battle happening towards the back here as well, and I believe an incident for Richie Evans in the 18th at the moment. Of course, all these drivers that do finish will score drivers' points, because of course there's only 10 in each division. So they will end up scoring points if they finish the race, or at least 95% of it. We do have another disconnection for Plaz. On the power so quickly, actually, is Hamster. And there's our first penalty. It's a 3 seconds to Gunner for multiple warnings. Dan's really managed to catch up on the back here of Tapata. And the Alfa Romeo looking like he's just powered the pressure as Chess Kingsman is also out. And the other Alfa Romeo has lost it coming out of turn 11. And the safety car is out again! Second time in 4 laps around Australia. We are back with another safety car after the Alfa Romeo of Chess Kingsman has binned it at turn 11. What a mad race this is turning out to be here, as all the drivers will now reconvene behind the safety car for another couple of laps, and CT5 Plaz's disconnection issues have now been resolved, and he won't lose any positions because it's all behind the safety car. Very, very, very lucky stuff for Plaz, you have to say. Absolutely mad race so far, isn't it? 9 viewers tuning in as well for this race. Thank you for every single one of you tuning in. And a 5-second penalty for PWR Tom crashing into the back of Wehrlein. Or rather, sorry, Wehrlein crashing into the back of Tom, maybe. And obviously, behind the safety car, if you end up hitting anyone under the safety car, both of you end up getting slapped with penalties. Excuse me. On board with AMS Dan at the moment. And number 72 just holding back behind Tapata, behind that safety car at the moment. Just got the moderator popping into the charge. They're asking about whether there was some debris just behind the safety car. I think before the safety car came to an end. Now, if there was a collision, we would have seen someone get a penalty, so they must have binned it into the wall behind the safety car. So there was no collision with anyone or with 2 people. Must have been 1 person on the wall, if there was. I didn't see any particular debris, but for all I'm blind, so I might have missed it. Taking on a commentator's role while being blind. What a great idea, eh? Safety car out again, though. Second time in just 5 laps. After a couple of people, unfortunately, spinning themselves out. One at turn 2, the other at turn 11. And I tell you what, this is really going to mix up the grid for the soft strategies now, because these soft strategies are going to comfortably be going to the mediums. So these cars are going to be uber quick. A person will be very happy about this situation will actually be Hamster. Fine form at the moment will this McLaren have. And number 85 looking just to keep it steady, keep it in lean. Soft tyres will very, very happily go to the end of this stint 5 laps later now, which certainly brings the mediums into the equation. Wastegate's opening for a few cars going around turn 5, 6. "23 laps to go here for this starter, a season 5, round number 1. Race number 86 of the history of Synergy PWR People's World Racing. Thank you very much to every single one of you tuning in behind the safety car for the second time in just 6 laps around here at the moment. Opportunity knocks for a lot of drivers here as the safety car coming in very early, declaring itself as done and all done and dusted very early, and that's going to invite Tapata to really, really close up the gap here. May even cool down the tyres for a lot of these drivers. That Dan did make that mistake going into turn 1, locking up and nearly invited Watson into the equation. And on board with the Renault, obviously branded as Alpine from next season. The question is when will tap go. He went just after this corner that we are approaching right now. He went about here, and that caught Max Watson napping, and that's where he's gone again. He's definitely not caught Dan or Watson napping, but he's definitely caught Hamster napping. As we go green again here for this Australian Grand Prix, round number 7, and we get going again, and you can see right at the back we've got a few gaps already opening up here, and Hamster's been caught napping a little bit here, and Dan already with a 3-second time penalty, and that is for multiple warnings. Obviously a few incidents behind the safety car, cutting corners here and there, and Tapiter able to hold on to P1 at the moment. They did a Season 4 champion, able to benefit here from a few mistakes from people, including Hoonigan earlier on in the session. There's a big slide out from Watson in P3 at the moment. Could invite Hamster into the mix, and Cookie also trying to get into the mix as well. That's the Season 1 and 2 world champion for Division 2 and 1 respectively. Little pause, I think there, and a little bit of lag from there from the Cookster. And there's the disconnection for him. We knew it was inevitable. He was lagging all over the shop, and there it is. So now he's going to have to reconnect back in. That might invite his teammate, Sonic, the Division 2 teammate, to overtake the Division 1 teammate, and that's certainly going to make a little bit of scratching heads, I think, at Red Bull. PWR Hamster starting to close down the gap on Watson, who's now really beginning to struggle here. Looks like he hasn't managed to maximise the quality of those tyres at the moment. Looks like they might still be cold. And Tapper's made a mistake at the penultimate corner. This might invite AMS Dan into the mix. No DRS, of course. No DRS available, of course, until the end of the 3rd lap after the safety car. So Dan is looking potentially to get into the wing mirrors of Tapper, and the Frenchman not going to bottle that one in the slightest. And Tapper actually maybe even cutting the corner a little bit, gaining a lot of time actually through turn 1 and 2. And Dan has lost that opportunity available to him as a result of that one. Watson still holding his own, but he's out of the DRS territory now of the cars in front of him, and that could invite the likes of Hamster and Cookie if he does manage to get back. But Sonic Super is gaining, and here's Cookie now. He's just managed to rejoin. Will he get there in time before Sonic Super is able to get in front of him? A loose of the rear grip there, and Shaquille might get into the mix here. P6 and 7. This battle for Division 2. So they're not just racing on track here for points, but they're also racing in the constructors as well, because they are in the top 10. And no matter what happens, there will be a fastest lap awarded to both tiers, as AMS Cookie now gets overtaken by the 2 Division 2 drivers in front of him, and I'm sure he's going to reconnect any second now, and that is going to be dire situation for Cookie, because he's losing buckets of time behind these who are going to be spitting out a bucket load of dirty air. Here comes Shaquille, though. He's going to go down potentially the inside of turn 13, 14, chooses not to, and Super has just gone a little bit wide actually, going through 13 into 14 into 15. Through 14, sorry, into 15. Loses the rear end a little bit there. And Sonic is just able to hold his own at the moment, but they are starting to get a bit too close to comfort, as we have a 3rd sector yellow flag wave. I'm not sure exactly as to what for, but the DRS has actually been enabled, as Max has just been able to pull a bit of a gap on Hamster. And AMS Cookie is just being let through there by the looks of things by the other 2 drivers. And Mongdog gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. The consistency is beginning to cripple a little bit here for the Season 2 champion. He's now in 16th place, probably will be in 17th, and with a 5-second penalty to add on. Back on board with Cookie. And a good showing from Cookie the last couple of seasons. Been able to get some consistency together, but wasn't able to get a championship. Will this year be the one for him? Either way, he does manage to get past in front of the Division 2 drivers. The Division 2 drivers are more than welcome to hold on to the position if they want to. There's no temporary or innocent blue flags that you don't see here. They are racing on track no matter what. Sector 3 yellow flags waved. I believe that's for DC Gunner. Another turn 11 casualty, and a safety car again for the 3rd time in 9 laps. We are now behind the safety car, and that has worked out so well for the soft tyre runners, and the soft tyre runners are now pitting for what will probably be medium tyres. Tapper has missed the opportunity to come into the pits, but he's on mediums anyway, and that has really turned the race on its head, ladies and gentlemen. Those on the soft tyres are seriously in a great shout here of gaining some big points here tonight. Let's take a look at the tyres at the moment, and you can see the top 5 all on medium tyres that they started on. Dan has elected to go on to medium tyres. That probably will go to the end, in fairness. Meanwhile, the other drivers, that's Hamster and Max Watson, have elected not to go onto the mediums. They are going on the safer tyre, the hard tyre. As has Shaq. Dan popping into the chat asking the question how Tapper's not got a warning. Obviously not particularly happy is Dan with Tap's potential corner cutting, but again, he might just be pin precise with his moves, that he's able to have 2 tyres off the track at any given time. If that's the case, he's not breaking the rules. Hard tyres though for Shaq and for Hamster and for Max. Max Watson going on the hard tyre. Good opportunity here for those drivers, but AMS Dan is probably the person in the best position here. Of the front of the pack of those who've pitted on fresh medium tyres, those in front of him, old medium tyres. Granted, about 5 of the laps of the 10 that we've done so far have been behind the safety car, so they're not going to be that worn. But they do have to pit still, as Verline has just got up the rear end of Sonic. I'm not sure if there was a collision there, but there certainly definitely was a lock-up. So it looks like there's been a bit of a caught out from braking, I think. But they're again getting caught out by what seems to be Sonic potentially braking a little bit too harsh. But Verline just able to get away with it, and the Williams currently in P4. Who'd have thought I said that in 2020. As we do have a car pitting, and it is Sufjan who is pitting. He's on the medium tyre, but he's been caught out by the pit stops. He's going on to hard tyres, but he's going to plummet down the standings, and the number 27 is going to be leaving probably as far low as here as P15 here. And he might be matched with his Division 2 compatriot in the Mercedes, NMS. Or M&M's, as I think he prefers to be called. And you can see there, it looks to me as if M&M's is actually kind of let Sufjan through there, because he knows he's not going to be the faster driver, which in fairness to him, if that's what he believes, that's a perfectly reasonable thing to do. Nothing illegal about that. I think you can really sense there's a great sense of sort of family nature within the league. Everyone knows what each other's pace is, and if they think, I'm not going to really be able to race in this scenario, I'll probably do better in my own race. If I let them through, they will do it. Lap 11 of 29, 18 laps to go. About half of them have been done behind the safety car. This is our 3rd safety car of 11 laps. It's been an absolutely manic race. And the safety car is coming in straight away this lap. So we're going to get going again and going green again in lap number 12 of this race. And currently, a very interesting scenario is brewing. We have Tapper in P1, Cookie in P2, and then the Division 2 Red Bull, Sonic Super in P3, the Williams Division 1 in P4, and the Alfa Romeo Division 1 in P5. We have the Season 2 World Champion in 2nd, the Season 3 World Champion in P5, and then the Season 4 World Champion in P1. So a little bit of a scrap potentially happening between the guys in the front here. But when is Tapper going to go is the question here. And does Cookie know what Tapper's been doing the last couple of times? We'll have to see. Went around the penultimate corner here, and he is on the power straight away. The same position again, and Tapper hasn't caught Cookie napping, so he's looking to just get a consistent start as they head down towards the start-finish straight, the Walker straight, and we go green again here at the Australian Grand Prix for the 3rd time, and Tapper heading around into turn 1. Cookie able to hold his own quite well, actually. A little bit onto the grass, actually, was Tapper, as Chess Kingsman has left the session after that incident earlier on at turn 11. Sonic Super losing buckets of time already to his teammate, the Division 2 Division 2 driver, currently in the podium standings on track at the moment, but currently leading as Division 1. AMS Dan in P4 at the moment. He's currently P3 in Division 1. And looking to try and get P3 on track if he can. We've got a little bit of a scrap happening towards P11 and P12 at the moment, as Tom Beading in the Alpha Tauri making some moves. It's seriously close here. Is CT5 Plaza, I believe that was, or was that Sufjan actually on CT5 Plaza rather, and getting that move done very early at turn 9-10. Very, very powerful actually was that Merc going into that corner on those fresh hard tyres. He's now up to P12. More battles happening as Tom Beating now getting close to the ghost of Big Daddy Shaquille, currently struggling with internet connections after his second disconnection of the race. Here comes PWR Tom for P8. As Paul Davey relegated down to P9 on track, but currently as it stands I believe in P5. Tom Beating just able to get past now. Tom Beating is a Division 1 driver. So no doubt Paul will be like, listen, I'll give you the position, because at the end of the day they're still going to be in the same position on track for the drivers, and for the constructors it's going to be exactly the same as well. And straight into overtake mode. I'm fairly certain Paul is not going to be really battling this one, and Paul down to P10, and Big Daddy Shaquille goes fastest of anyone. That's the ghost car actually is going fastest of anyone at the moment, so that safety, that fastest lap will be discounted and deleted, as Sonic Super is just getting overtaken here by AMS Dan. And the Division 2 driver still hasn't lost any positions. He's still P1 in his standings at the moment in Division 2. But AMS Dan now promoted to 3rd on track, but still 3rd in Division 1. Back on board with Max Watson. Hard tyres for him, remember. Not able to make the grounds as much as he wants really on the old medium tyre runners, but Verline's made a mistake going through turn 8. Big lock-up indeed. Oh, it's a little corner cut there as well from Max, so he's going to be struggling a little bit here, and I think Hamster's looking to try and get here. He's on the hard tyre. We've seen his consistency usually begins to drop a little bit on the hard tyre. We saw that in Season 4. Will that continue in Season 5? As would you believe it, we're just approaching halfway through the race. It's been a bit of a long one, hasn't it, with all those safety cars. Heading through the final corner. DRS now enabled. As we start to see here, particular scenes happening as the two drivers yet to pit at the moment, that's Cookie and Tapata, still battling quite hard, and DRS will be available actually for AMS Cookie. And AMS Dan on those fresh medium tyres that could theoretically go to the end. Could be a good scenario as Richie Evans has crashed out of the race at turn 1. And the virtual safety car has come out as a result. No full safety car, just the virtual. For Richie Evans, who has crashed out of the race on lap number 14 of 29 after an incident at turn 1, turn 2. He's out of the race. Question is who's going to be quickest on the trigger for this virtual safety car. These two drivers all within about half a second of each other for that lead. As we go green again here, and it's really good timing for Cookie, because he was only just putting the power down, whereas Tapata was already past the corner. And he's going to carry a little bit more speed into the corner as a result. But the aging medium tyre is beginning to show here. And as a result of that one, you can see the lockups beginning to form. But no intention to pit just yet for these two. Sector 3 yellow flags, as Mongdog is also out of the race as well. And that's in another turn 11 casualty. No safety car being called though for Mongdog's crasher. We are still racing here, and we go green. Paz manages to make the move, or nearly made the move actually, on M&Ms. Incident still brewing in and around P5, P6 at the moment. Here comes PWR Verline. Starting to get close here to Sonic Super. Now remember, Verline is in Division 1, so these drivers are not fighting on track for track position for their driver standings, but for the constructors, they are counting the points. And Red Bull will be losing 2 if that were to happen. So curiously, these two are on the same age tyre at the moment. One person who isn't, Max Watson, on those fresh hard tyres at the moment, looking really pacey. And it looks to me as if he's just holding back because he knows these two have got to pit at some point, and he'll be able to go racing in completely clean air. The only issue is he's got Hamster breathing down his neck at the moment, actually, and just under a second behind, and he has actually got DRS enabled as well to really close down that gap. So actually he could really do with getting past these drivers as soon as possible, and I think ideally he'd want them to pit. Don't really want to race with them and potentially lose time. We'll have to see. As we do have Shaquille managing to rejoin, but he'll be rejoining right at the back of the field in 15th place. Battle still brewing. We start to see a little bit of a DRS trend forming here as we've got Tom Beading as well, also managing to connect into this race A little bit there, a little bit wide for Wehrlein. That's going to invite Max Watson on down on that inside of turn 1, and he's got DRS available. Wehrlein does though as well because of Sonic Super. They're going to go down side by side into the corner. Big lock up from the Williams around the outside is where the racing line is for Max Watson, and he's up to P5, and he's going to end up compromising potentially Wehrlein as well, and he might get into a little bit of tiff here with Hamster, and he might make the move a little bit here going into turn 8 and 9. Chooses not to though. The McLaren looking fairly strong and doing a very good job losing the rear a little bit, catching it very nicely. Amos down on his Todd at the moment. He knows he's got a fight sort of brewing at the moment in front of him between Tapiter and Cookie, but these two have still got to pit, remember. And it's potentially a bit of a dire scenario for these drivers because they're going to be sort of struggling a little bit here, you suspect. You can see there the rears are just not feeling healthy at all, and Cookie not able to get the power down. Whereas if you compare that to Dan's move, you can see there's actually a bit more of understeer, so that might be a setup issue, but the tyres are a lot more healthier. And that could potentially bring some good pace here. Here comes Max Watson trying to get closer and closer to Sonic Super. Now this is a battle, as far as I'm aware. Max Watson's a Division 2 driver. So he would actually be taking points off of Sonic, as Shaquille has a 5-second penalty for corner cutting and gaining an advantage. Well, I can't see exactly why, because he's 12 seconds back on anyone in front of him. Sector 3, yellow flags waved. I believe that is for Shaquille at the moment, struggling in the racing point. And heading around that right-hander. It's going to be a tight one here. Wehrlein, Division 1 driver, remember, doesn't really want to be battling with a load of Division 2 drivers. He's right in the thick of it at the moment. You can see the tyres are just not feeling healthy at the moment, and compared to those a lot fresher and harder, hard tyres. Certainly going to make for a better race, but a little bit wide. I believe that's actually dirty air there, and you can see right in the back you've got Beading and Suffian getting into the mix here, and they are two Division 1 drivers looking to scrap here. So we've got three Division 1s and three Division 2s all battling for same positions here, and there's no potential for blue flags here as well. They're all racing with each other because remember they are scoring points in the constructors, as Max Watson has managed to make the move stick here on Wehrlein. Pardon me, sorry, he's not managed to make the move. It's because we've just had Cookie come into the pits to switch onto a set of soft tyres, as Tom Beading has got a 3-second penalty, as he's trying to get past Big Daddy Shaquille at the moment. Shaquille is a lapped car, and he's going side by side with Sufyan with a lapped car alongside him. This is mightily brave stuff, and they're still side by side going through turn 7, 8 into 9, and he yields the position and Sufyan takes it. He's up to P7. That is a battle for position on track as well, because they are both Division 1 drivers. And Sufyan's got a lapped car in front of him before he gets to PWR Hamster, a Division 2 driver, as does Wehrlein, who's still got to get past Max Watson and Sonic Super. Sonic now back up to P3, but remember, he has to pit, so does Wehrlein. Mightily close stuff between these two here, and I think that just really goes to show, doesn't it, the influence that Division 2 and 1 drivers are having in here. There's some really close competition between the two divisions, but there's still mightily close stuff here, as Max Watson's still trying to get in there and try and get as close as he possibly can to Sonic Super. And remember, he does not need to pit. He can theoretically go to the end of the race here, and he might be getting top step here, as Tapiter has decided to come into the pits. He's changing onto a set of soft tyres here. Now the question is where is he going to be in compromised position compared to Cookie? Cookie is just coming around the final corner now. Remember, Cookie was battling hard with Tapiter to try and keep position. Where is he going to be in respect of Tapiter? There's Tapiter now, and Cookie has managed to commit to the undercut on those soft tyres. He is now in P7 on soft tyres. Everyone else in front of me either needs to pit or has pitted and is on a harder compound. But there's still this really big battle between Div 1 and Div 2 drivers at the moment, and it's really mixing it up because Cookie's going to get to the back of this very shortly, the back of this little battle. And he's going to lose time to Tapiter as a result. So he's going to have to try and get past these guys quickly, and it could ruin him or other people's races if he gets this wrong. And here they come straight into the back of this battle. for what is essentially a long line of cars to P2. What an amazing little sequence of events that's happening here. Tom Beeding now getting attacked here by AMS Cookie at the moment. Cookie looking very strong and looking to go side by side. And he gets past Tom Beeding on the Walker Straight, heading down into the final selection of corners. And then he's trying to go down side by side here with Sufyan as well. Remember, they're Div 1 drivers, so he is actually battling here for position, for track position as well. And he's on soft tyres versus all these hard tyres. He's making some massive inroads into P4. Is Cookie now past PWR Hamster? And he's making some massive inroads. He's going down the inside of his teammate. And the teammates have collided with each other. Cookie and Sonic have collided with each other. And now Tapita is now racing hard here with Sufyan. Remember, these are battling for position. And Tapita is still trying to hold the inside. Around the outside goes Sufyan, but can't do it. The teammates have collided. And Division 1 and Division 2 drivers are going to be livid with each other. And I'm fairly certain Cookie will be waggling his finger at Sonic. And I'm sure Sonic will be saying, no, that was my position to hold. And Tapita now has front wing damage after colliding to the back of a Division 2 driver in PWR Hamster. It's absolutely manic. The race has now suddenly opened up. What an absolute manic race this has turned out to be. Tapita now has major front wing damage. He's trying to get past the Division 2 runner of PWR Hamster, but he has every right to hold on to that position, because remember, he's earning points for the constructors for McLaren. If he loses P3, he'll lose 15 points and get 12 instead. So he is battling, and he has every right to battle with the Division 1 drivers, and the Division 1 driver has put it into the back of him. He now has major front wing damage, and Sufyan is now a serious possibility of potentially gaining some big points for Mercedes here tonight. Sector 3 yellow flags waved, and the Sector 3 yellow flags waved are for AMS Cookie, who now has no front wing at all. So now his race is completely turned upside down. What a sorry race this has been for the Red Bull, who just misses the pit lane entry and gets a 3-second penalty for his troubles as a result. I have a feeling he's going to be very upset with the scenario. And he's going to get a new front wing, as Tom Beeding is still trying to battle hard. And the virtual safety car has come out. A virtual safety car has come out as AMS Cookie, I believe, has done a bit of a rage quit. And Hamster, I believe, has a drive-through penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car. I didn't know he were under the virtual safety car. I did miss that. But Hamster's race has now been turned upside down as he's got to commit to the drive-through. Tapita is still able to continue racing despite the front wing damage. But what an opportunity has opened here for AMS Dan. He's 11.2 seconds in front of second place, who is a Division 2 driver. His nearest rival is Tapita, and he has major front wing damage. So at the moment, Dan is in a very, very good position at the moment as Tom Beeding has collided, and that's another crash at guess where? Turn 11. We have another incident at turn 11. And that is dire situation for Clap, because he was looking fairly strong there. Sonic now back up to P6 after that collision with his teammate, and no safety car needed. We go green again straight away. But Tapita is seriously struggling with that front wing damage after that collision with PWR Hamster, who's just served his pit lane, or he's just serving, sorry, his pit drive-through penalty for speeding under the virtual safety cars. Cookie has managed to reconnect, so it might have been a disconnection issue for Cookie. Paul Davey in P7 at the moment. Look at this. He's just turned into a magnificent race for Paul Davey out of nowhere, hasn't he? He's just overtaken Hamster for P5 at the moment. So as it stands, Paul Davey is second place in Division 2. What an absolutely manic race this has turned out to be for Paul Davey, who I believe started in the bottom 15. M&M's just making the move stick, as he's actually gone a little bit wide through there. Manic race for these drivers. It's been an absolutely fantastic race from start to finish. We've had 3 safety cars, a virtual safety car, and a bunch of drivers all racing far too quickly to get past a load of slower drivers. No blue flags needed. It is SynergyPWR at its finest. What a show. And we're still not over, as we have 5 laps to go in this race. And as it stands at the moment, Sufyan currently in P4. Magnificent performance for this Division 1 driver. He's currently standing on the podium in Division 1. And the fastest Division 2 driver is actually Max Watson at the moment. Bold call from the Max Watson fan. in the chat as AMS Dan has actually chose to pit, as Cookie is now retired, and he's retired. He's interestingly retired at turn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So a very unusual place to crash it, but Cookie has retired. And the Season 2 champion will be leaving with nil points. As curiously enough, Dan has chosen to enter the pit lane to go into a set of soft tyres, but it does mean he's going to be racing here with a bunch of other drivers. So that's opened it up a little bit. Tapperter now the leading driver. You can see there's Cookie's car. Tapperter currently the leading Div 1 driver, but remember he does have that front wing damage. You can see missing left end plate. And a real opportunity now opening up for the Frenchman to try and hold back if he can, but he's got to find and hold 7.5 seconds in 6 laps. It's going to be a tough ask on soft tyres that are now worn with that front wing damage versus fresh soft tyres and a very, very fast driver. Sufjan, the other Division 1 driver. Oh, he's lost it at turn 11 as well. There's another casualty of turn 11, though he's managed to keep it out of the wall. And as a result of that one, he has now put himself in a very precarious position. Dan is able to make the move very easily. And that's opened it up very well here. And Sufjan gets back going again. He's still in P3 at the standings at the moment. But currently, the leading driver at the moment, would you believe it, is Max Watson of Division 2. Will be getting 25 points in Division 2 for the win. And he's going to get top step of the podium because he's first on track. What a magnificent performance it has been from Watson. That's one thing about here is you've got all of that racing and all of that spectacle around you, but you've got to keep it clean. And some of these drivers were just not able to keep it clean tonight, and they've cost themselves opportunities to be able to hold on. And AMS Dan is now closing down the gap here on Tapperter. But you've got to remember, he's potentially bottled this one here, because you've got to remember he's got to find all that time, and then he's got to find another 3 seconds, because Tapperter doesn't even have a single penalty here. He has that 3-second penalty, does Dan, so that may open up the situation here for Tapperter to try and hold on to at least P2 on track P1 in Division 1. That would be a dire situation if that were to happen. Keep it steady though. New turn 10 and 11 nearly had another casualty as we went on board with Sufjan, as Cookie has now left the session after the collision. I'll get there at the end, the crash that happened rather at turn 5, turn 6. Managed to find a 1.5 seconds on Tapperter at the moment. That's fast, but maybe not fast enough because he has that 3-second penalty to add on as well. I think there's been a bit of an oversight potentially for Dan. This is the Season 4 World Champion, and he didn't do it by mistake. He was a very quick driver, but he's going to have to cope with that front wing damage, and he's also going to have to try and maintain not going off the circuit and keeping it consistent. That's a tough ask. The Season 4 World Champion has got his work cut out to try and keep the 25 here tonight. 4 laps to go. Currently, as it stands, Max Watson will be on the top step of the podium before penalties. He is a Division 2 driver. He will be finishing in first place in Division 2 no matter what, but he may finish P2 in general on track, which would be a magnificent effort here, as Verline is battling hard with M&Ms. And also got Hamster coming into the mix here a little bit as well, the Division 2 runner. Just keeping it steady onto the grass. He's had to get off the power there. Hazami knew the car would spin if he didn't. Good battling happening here as well between these drivers, and we've had 6 casualties, 13 in the end, 4 laps to go. And under 2 seconds now is AMS Dan. Not the best lap from him, but he's still able to close down the gap here. And a lot better in that third sector. You can see just long sweeping 15th turn into 16. And a big lock-up. And that, to me, sounds like he's recognised he's under a bit of pressure here, because he's going to be able to make the move on Tapperter. That's going to be pretty much a dead cert. Can he get 3 seconds is the question. I am not entirely sure about that, you know. He's got to find 4 seconds a lap in 3 laps. A very, very tough ask. Love to know your thoughts. Can he do it? And who would you put as your driver of the day as well? Let us know in the chat indeed. Want any idea of how we're doing as regards of positions gained? As it stands at the moment, the top guy will be PWR Verline. Yeah, PWR Verline currently the driver of the day on track. Here though comes AMS Dan. And down that inside, down the outside rather, and get to trying to hold it on the inside, but Tapiter knows he just doesn't have that front end grip, and that is as a result of the collision that he had with PWR Hamster early on in this race. He is still trying to look to try and maybe make a move, but not able to do it, and that front wing is going to cost him all that time. That's certainly going to be a warning. He's got to be borderline close to a penalty here at this rate. And MS Dan now has 2 and a bit laps to find 3 seconds and pull out the gap on Tapiter. Can he do it? Again, love to know who your driver of the day is. Leave it in the chat box. Let me know who you feel your driver of the day is in the comments section. If you're watching on YouTube as a replay, or if you're watching live on Twitch, leave it in the chat. I am very curious to know who you think your best performance is here. Surely Danny's going to be up there. Got to consider M&M's and Fairline into the mix though as well. A little bit of a half spin, I think, for PWR Hamster. Heading around the final selection of corners here. AMS Dan 2 laps to go. It's found 1.5 seconds. He's done half of the job he needs. Charlie Spur back into the chat. Good evening to yourself. Max Watson is your driver of the day, I would say. Max, and yeah, then the moderator Sadden Weird as well coming in again. PWR Fearless driver of the day, Max, surely has got to be the consideration here as a Division 2 driver. We were looking for when that first day would be that someone comes and takes that top step of the podium, regardless of the division, and thinking of the top step of the podium rather for a Division 2 driver, and it potentially could be happening here. But crucially, Max needs to hold back AMS Dan if he wants that. That's a big lockup from Dan. That might have just given Max Watson the win on track. The question is, has it cost him the opportunity, Dan, to pull away from Tapiter? Gap 2 seconds. He's got to find 1 second in a couple of laps. This is going to be tight. Hugo Larkin in the chat. Max again, and another lockup. Something is happening with Dan. I don't know what's happening with Dan at the moment, but he is struggling out there at the moment, and he's losing time big time here. No front wing damage as well, so maybe tyres are overheating or something, but he is locking up big time. And another lockup again from Dan. Dan is struggling at the moment out there. Chester's Hugo Larkin coming in. Good evening to yourselves, guys. Saying again, Max has got to be the driver of the day. I'd certainly say performance-wise, Max is definitely up there, potentially taking driver of the day. On track, it would be Fairline that gets driver of the day, but the Synergy driver of the day, if you will, certainly Max has got to be the consideration here. Dan, 2.3 seconds now to Tapiter, 1.7, and another big lockup here. Something's not quite right with Dan at the moment. He is struggling. He really is struggling out there at the moment, and it's going to be a very, very tight call indeed here. Take another look at those penalty situation. As you can see, Max Watson currently has a 6-second penalty. So as it stands, he's going to be losing the top step of the podium regardless here. But he is going to be getting the 25. So it's not going to be a day where we're going to see a Division 2 driver finishing in first on track. The time penalties are going to be rest assured of that one. And there we go. Dan has found the 3 seconds on tap. The Season 3 World Champion is looking strong here. Suffian and Fairline going side by side though, going through into turn 15 around the outside, still side by side, and the Mercedes and the Williams battling hard, and they tap wheels, and Suffian has managed to get past Fairline. And remember, these are both Division 1 drivers, so they are battling on circuit for position for not just the constructors but for the drivers as well. But Fairline is not one to just give up. He is one that is going to race hard all the way to the end, getting up on that curb as well. Four seconds the gap now between AMS Dan and Tapiter though in that battle for the win. And Max Watson will be, regardless of the situation, I'm fairly certain he's going to want to try and defend here from Dan, at least come across the line as the leader of the race. Division 2 driver, I mean, why wouldn't he want to not? Why would he not want to, rather? Going through the final selection of corners in 10 and 11 through 12. DRS available. Is Dan going to go for it? He's going to try and go for it down the inside line. And he's cut Watson up a little bit, but Dan has taken the victory off of the Division 2 driver on the final lap, rather, at the final penultimate corners. But it won't matter because the penalty situation would have cost him anyway. AMS Dan is going to be coming down that final straight, and he's weaving left to right. The Alfa Romeo takes victory here tonight at the Australian Grand Prix. Max Watson finishes in second place, and Tapter will come across the line in third place on track after the penalties are applied, and that is a great effort from a Division 2 driver indeed. Here comes Sufyan though. He'll be taking third place in Division 1, and it will be a podium for Sufyan. A great result from the Mercedes, 12 points for their line. And here comes M&M's, right? M&M's is second, would you believe, in Division 2. He takes 18 points. What an effort from M&M's, and a big points haul for Mercedes tonight. Sonic finishes on the podium in Division 2 with 15 points, and Hamster will be reeling with that drive-through penalty. What could have been if he didn't have to serve that 20-second penalty. He finishes in 4th in Division 2 and 8th on the track. Tom finishes in 5th in Division 2. Good effort indeed. Plaz is 6th in Division 2, and Paul Davies 7th. Gunnar on his debut will be happy if, despite the 17 seconds worth of penalties with 18, he'll be finishing in 8th in Division 2. Great effort indeed. Dan, by the way, just got a curious situation with Dan. The reason why he pitted for those soft tyres is because he got a puncture, believe it or not. Very intriguing stuff indeed. But Verline, as you saw, definitely got driver of the day on track because of the most amount of positions gained on the circuit. But you've got to say that the driver of the day has to be, for the Synergy driver of the day, has to go to Max. What an amazing effort indeed from the Division 2 driver to get in all of that mix of Division 1 and Division 2 drivers, keep it clean, and take a solid 25 points indeed for Division 2. Let's go to the podium. And there you see, it's AMS Dan taking that top step of the podium, and a Division 2 driver is on the podium in this Le Mans lobby. What an amazing effort indeed from Max Watson. Great effort indeed. A great effort indeed as well from P3. Tapper, with all of that front wing damage, managing to solidify 18 points, but he is not leading the championship after round 1, curiously enough. The person who is going to be leading the championship at the end of round 1 is this guy, AMS Dan. He takes that top step of the podium and 25 solid points indeed. And then Max Watson will be taking 25 points for Division 2. Good effort from them. And it's 18 points for Tapper, 15 points for Sufyan in Division 1, and it will be 12 points for Verline and 18 points for M&M's as well. So 2 Division 2 drivers on their debuts tonight getting the top 2 positions. What an amazing effort from the newbies tonight. Sonic Super finishing with 15 points to his name. A great effort indeed, with Hamster finishing with 12 points in Division 2, 10 for Tom, and it will be 8 for Plaz, 6 for Paul, and 4 for Gunnar. I'm not sure about the situation with Shaquille. We know that he was disconnecting, reconnecting, so we'll have to figure out what's going on with him, and we'll confirm that on our Twitter, so feel free to keep an eye on that one as well, at Synergy_PWR. And then the casualties of this race: Cookie, Beeding, Mongdog, Evans, Kingsman, and unfortunately Hoonigan at the very start of this race. What a magnificent race. It was 3 safety cars, a virtual safety car, a mixed bag of penalties, and we have a full season ahead of us. Race number 86 is done. We move forward to number 87. Tune in next week. It's the 17th of February from the same time at around 7:30 UK time for the Bahrain Grand Prix. But from myself and the rest of the team here at SynergyPWR, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.